The Darth Retro podcast is brought to you by the letter T. Uh, T, the letter. Okay, so I don't get good sponsors these days. Who doesn't? Haha. The Darth Retro podcast is a free-flowing conversation that occasionally touches on intelligent subjects, but mostly just sports, music, and life. And now, here is your adorable host, Tom Wagner. And welcome back to the podcast. This is being taped on Tuesday after Labor Day. So I hope all of you had a very good, long 3-day weekend or so. Pretty much taping this on pretty much a little bit of a warm Tuesday afternoon here in the old Fargo, North Dakota. This is probably going to be one episode of 2 for this week. Probably going to be taping another one sometime later this week, probably on Friday or so, since I don't have much of a work schedule this week so far. To this episode, topics are gonna be some fan mail and some little bit of a Packers / NFL preview, since tomorrow is gonna be the opening day of the first NFL playoff game or play game. Against the Giants, who are visiting the Cowboys in Dallas, I think. Might be in New York, I think. Actually, it probably is New York anyway. So yeah, probably gonna be talking about Packers football as well as some NFL football and my predictions and such for the upcoming season, since I don't really do that much for most sports, but for the NFL, I kind of like to talk about it since it's a little bit more of a shorter season, I guess. But and then some Alma Mater tales and we're news story for me to share to you all. So let's get started. And some of you probably have still noticed that I still have a cold. That has been going on for at least a good part of a week or so. I think it's more of a cough, but it's I don't think it's not the flu or anything, but I could definitely feel like it's like a cold or something. And I think it's probably something that's been going around in my area for a good 2 weeks or so. So, meh. So anyway, I have some fan mail that I have. Then mostly for fan mail, I don't usually thinking about and talking about it, but it's typically I usually hold off for fan mail for about a month, since it's been about a month since I started this podcast. And so, basically for this episode's fan mail, I don't really want to kind of use it as kind of more of a fan mail. I usually kind of like to use it as a way to reach out to people. Some of this fan mail is not exactly the fan mail that you usually get on most podcasts that you can usually see. Like for example, on the How Stuff Works podcast, they usually listeners usually send in like replies to the general topic of the time. That time's podcast, trying to remember what they did about a couple weeks ago, but I think they did something about Shark Week. So I think probably the listeners tried to make a correction to that. So it's kind of a little bit more of a constructive criticism of the podcast, but for this podcast, I'm basically including all of it and all of that, including hate mail, constructive email, and plus some positive email, mail. Excuse me. So let's get down to kind of at first let's talk about the bad mail, the negative email that I usually get. And for this time, I have stuff from Facebook, from my Facebook page, and from my Twitter account. So first off, basically this one from Facebook. I'm not going to mention the person's name or anything, but I tried to keep some privacy with the people that I use fan mail with. Anyway, this first one is from a guy who messaged me on my Facebook, and just a little bit of a background to this this fan mail. I was basically trolling on some Facebook page, which was NFL, the NFL's Facebook page, and basically that they had a post about the the Vikings' victory over the Bills in the preseason, which was about a couple weeks ago, and basically I was claiming that the Vikings, they beat an awful Bills team that actually did better than the Vikings last season, and basically kept on saying that the Vikings have 0 trophies, Super Bowl trophies, and then they always set themselves up for disappointment, like pretty much every other season that they've had in the last 40 to 50 years of their existence in the league. And basically this email was, or this Facebook message was, it basically says, fuck yourself, faggot, Skull Vikings for life. And I didn't reply to it because I pretty much learned my lesson in one way or another, but I basically trashing the Vikings fan is probably one of my most favorite things to do, I suppose. But this one. This message was basically excuse me. Sorry about that. Anyway, this I probably actually got quite a few more Facebook messages, but this one somehow stuck around for quite a while. So anyway, it's did I have anything to say to him? No, I didn't write anything reply back to him, but my thoughts were Skull Vikings for life. Yeah, sure. Excuse me. Sorry about that. Anyway, I probably deserved it because I was basically raining on the Vikings parade. But do I care if I made some Vikings fans who basically thought they were gonna be a lot better than last season? I don't think I regret that. Excuse me again. But it's typically the Vikings they've never won a Super Bowl. They won an NFL title back in when the NFL and AFL were still at each other's throats back in the 60s, and they just haven't won the big one. They always find some interesting way to lose, and so yeah. Um, anyway, I do feel sorry for Vikings fans somewhat, but it it's I don't know. It's a different subject altogether to talk about the Vikings and their team. But anyway, this next one is from my Twitter account, and this was pretty much after the my Red Sox lost to the Oakland Athletics, which was earlier in the weekend. I think it was Saturday, this past Saturday. Anyway, this is from a woman who's also a Twins fan. And basically it reads, very proud of the Athletics' performance tonight. Darth is crying himself to sleep because of it. Number 20. And I don't know what I'm trying to remember what I was watching that night, but anyway, I was probably watching some movie or something. Actually, maybe it was Batman Returns or something, but anyway, yeah, I still have coffee anyway, but first I was basically like, what is that? Is that some sort of insult in front of my Facebook, in front of my Twitter? It's like, I mean, if you're trying to insult me with that tweet, then you really didn't really do a good job with that. And basically kind of made me question why they would send that when I basically told them earlier in the week that when Joe Mauer was placed on the waivers, and that he might be claimed and such, and I basically made the comment that if Joe Mauer went to the Yankees, then basically I would cringe at the thought of it, and I basically had sympathy for the Twins fans. So, and to get that kind of tweet, which I'll read again, very proud of the Athletics' performance tonight. Darth crying himself to sleep because of it. Well, for one thing, I didn't cry over it because I pretty much had to go to work that day, and oh wait, it was sent 2:08 a.m. and so I must have watched Batman Returns that night. Anyway, basically what made me question why they would send this, basically the Saturday, the Athletics won the game 7-1 against the Red Sox, which would later end up being a sweep, and then I thought to myself, why wouldn't you say something like that again? I mean, if that was an insult, you really didn't really do a good job with insulting me. typically it takes a lot to insult me something like that, and it's just I don't know, it's I've been nice to Twins fans because they're the hometown team, and then they're like, and then if they find some reason to hate you, they basically will absolutely go for it, and then it's they'll absolutely go for trying to find some way to absolutely just try to destroy you, which actually turns up in more of a fail, more of anything, because if you're trying to talk trash to a Red Sox fan, you're basically asking for it. And I don't know, if you really wanted to try to insult me, you really would have had to know me a lot more better than that. Because there's some things in my life that I do get mad over, and if you try using that, then probably I might be a little bit more angry at you. But when it comes to the Red Sox, once the Beckett's, the Agons, the Puntos, and whatever left Boston, basically I could breathe a sigh of relief, because I knew that basically the team just gave away a bunch of money, overspent freaking money on guys that they shouldn't have paid so much in the first place, and now it's pretty much the Dodgers' problem. So I basically wake up pretty much every day feeling glad that those guys are gone, but it's still gonna be a long season as long as Bobby Valentine's the manager of the team, which I do hope they will fire him if the Mariners do sweep the Red Sox, which might actually happen. They did win yesterday, I think. So if the Red Sox get swept by the Mariners, then out you go, Bobby V. Because we've basically lost 7 in a row, and I thought we were gonna do a lot better without those bad personalities and such. But anyway, I'm getting off topic. But anyway, I thought it was just more of a snarky comment from a Twins fan that basically thought they would probably think that I would cry away at a 20-2 loss to the Athletics. I mean, the Athletics are pretty good. I think they'll probably get to the postseason and such. But I don't know. I'm starting to think that I should really basically start trashing on Twins fans, because I'm starting to get sick of it. Anyway. Let's some more fan mail. As soon as this next one has come more of a constructive mail, which is still from my Twitter account. And this is from a guy, and it reads, "Hi Tom, I truly admire your podcast. Just watch your use of the word basically. Consider me as a occasional guest co-host," with a smiley face. So, I do like constructive criticism. I mean, if I could get constructive criticism basically every day, then basically my job becomes a lot more easier. So, but seriously, if you people have something constructive to say about this podcast, shoot away, go ahead. if you think this podcast sucks, then say it. But anyway, in terms of using the word basically, I'm seriously trying hard not to say it. Anyway, I think this might be the last one for fan mail, and this is kind of more of a funny reaction to a couple podcasts ago with the Arnold Schwarzenegger interview, and this is also from a guy. Basically reads, "Hilarious. I love the guest cameo. Careful he doesn't try to sue you for making him too awesome!" Exclamation point. Yeah, Arnold was pretty cool as a guest. Guest interview. I'll try to see if I can get more guests on here. Not really sure how, because I just only have this one microphone, and maybe I might try to find some hardware equipment that would allow me to actually have more people on, because one person enough is kind of gets a little bit boring, but if you have two people having a conversation, it just flows so much better. The podcast goes so much faster. But in terms of fan mail, I'm pretty much done with that. So let's get to the next topic, which is NFL. So the Giants and the Cowboys play tomorrow night on NBC, which I think is gonna be a pretty good matchup. I think for in terms of a football matchup, I think it's pretty good. You have division rivals. You have the Cowboys with their history and the Giants being the recent Super Bowl champions. I don't think you could ask for more of a better matchup. But I think typically I hate the Cowboys, so I'm probably going to cheer for the Giants, since even though I'm still trying to get over the divisional playoff loss to them last season, which probably hurt more than probably quite a while. And I think I'll still cheer for the Giants, but if the Cowboys win it, I wouldn't be surprised if they did. So taking a look at Peter King, which is probably my favorite football writer, and basically around the whole country. Basically, his preview of the divisions are as such. It's for the AFC East. It's the Patriots, Bills, Jets, and Dolphins. I think he has the Patriots at 12-4, which is actually a pretty good prediction. And that's probably a lot better than Pete Prisco's 16-0 prediction. Pete Prisco is of CBSSports.com. But he has the Bills right up there in second place with New England. And the Jets at 7-9 in third place, which is a pretty fair judgment, because basically they're off because the Jets' offense sucks so much, and their defense is a little bit more worse than previous years, perhaps. But the Dolphins are in fourth place with 4-12. Ouch. I don't know. I think the Dolphins should be a little bit better, but I don't know. Maybe I think the Dolphins might win 6 or 7 games if they get lucky. So For the AFC North, he has Baltimore Ravens, Cincinnati, Pittsburgh, and This is weird. He has the Cincinnati Bengals with the Browns helmet, so that's more of a typo than anything. Oh boy, Peter King. Ouch. The Ravens, I think they're pretty good. I'm not the hugest Joe Flacco fan, but the Ravens defense will still be there. See, Cincinnati, the Bengals of Cincinnati are at 9-7, and the Pittsburgh Steelers have 508-8, which isn't that bad of a judgment since they lose a little bit more of their weapons. Hines Ward retired last season, and I don't know. I think the Steelers might be better than 8-8, but the Browns. He has the Browns at 5-11, which the Browns. The Browns have still quite a few years until they're a little bit more of the playoff contenders that they sort of were when Romeo Crennel took them to 10-6 in 2007, which sadly was my freshman year, and they really haven't been relevant since that time. Yes, the AFC South. He has the Houston Texans at 12-4, which I think they can win 13 games. Pretty good. He has the Tennessee Titans at 7-9, which is also pretty good assessment. The Indianapolis Colts and the Jaguars are basically third and fourth in that division. I don't know. I think the Colts will be better than 5-11, but I don't know. We'll have to see what happens. If Andrew Luck fares well in his rookie season, then I think it's probably more of a higher up chance that they'll win more games. Anyway, the AFC West. Ooh, the AFC West. Ooh. Dangerous division. He has the Kansas City Chiefs at 10-6, and the Denver Broncos at 10-6. While the San Diego Chargers are at 8-8, and the Oakland Raiders at 6-10. A lot of people are picking the Chiefs to be more of a dark horse this season. A lot of people are saying that the Chiefs will be a pretty good team, and I can't deny them that, But I think, I don't know, my take on the Peyton Manning situation with Denver is if he can stay healthy, then he should easily take them to the playoffs with weapons that they have. Chargers are Chargers. You really don't know with the Chargers, and the Raiders are still the Raiders. So, taking a look at the NFC prediction of the NFC East, which is still a pretty good division, a very tough division. He has the Cowboys at 10-6, winning the division. The Giants and the Eagles at 9-7, and the Washington Redskins at 6-10. And I don't know. I don't know if Peter is trying to. I don't know why people are still trying to warm up to the Cowboys every year, because it seems like every season that they all choose the Cowboys to win the division, and somehow or another they always find ways to lose. I mean, last season they didn't even make the postseason, while the Giants basically won their 2 games with them late in the season. And the Eagles, I don't know. The Eagles are Eagles. They could be better than 9-7, but I wouldn't give too much leeway on the Eagles. The Redskins, RG3 is there, but he needs some weapons there in Washington. Anyway, and let's see the NFC North, which is where the division where the Packers play. He has the Bears and the Packers at 11-5. The Detroit Lions at 9-7, and the Vikings at 4-12. Let's see. I think the Packers are definitely a good 11-12 win team. I think the Packers' schedule is a lot more tougher than it was last season. Basically because you had the AFC West, which is probably second to the closest worst division in the NFL. And I don't know, the Bears, if Jay Cutler and Matt Forte still stay healthy, they will definitely be back in the postseason. I can probably definitely guarantee that. The Lions, basically at 9-7, basically one more loss than they did last season, if I remember right. I think the Lions were at 10-6 last season. And I don't know, my take on the Lions is that Matt Stafford will still be healthy. Megatron or Calvin Johnson will still be definitely quite a worthy combo to take on. And for the Vikings at 4-12, the Vikings were 3-13 last season, and somehow or another, Ziggy Wilf hopes that the team will still win the division, which I actually laughed at that thought, but the Vikings are probably a five win team. If they can get the Adrian Peterson situation sorted out, then Ponder has a good running game to back on. But in terms of Vikings, it's not going to be a good season for a Vikings fan for at least another good couple years. I think Ponder's a pretty good quarterback, but he needs weapons too. So the AFC and the NFC South, the unpredictable division. He has the Atlanta Falcons at 11-5, the New Orleans Saints at 10-6, the Carolina Panthers at 8-8, and the Buccos at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers at 6-10. Trying to remember, I think the Saints won the division last year, and judging on that division, usually have a different team win in that division. A couple years ago, Atlanta won it, and then you had New Orleans winning it, and then you have the Falcons. Then you have the Falcons winning it, according to Peter King. I think the Falcons will win the division. The Saints will be a little bit bad, but they still have Drew Brees, and as long as they have him, they'll get to the postseason easily. Of course, if he stays healthy, of course. The Carolina Panthers at 8-8. I don't know. I think Panthers could have a winning season. I mean, Cam Newton. What can I say? Cam Newton's actually pretty big, quite a bit of a beast. Let's see, the Buccaneers. They were good earlier in the season, and then they somehow choke away and get rid of their head coach. And so yeah. Oh yeah, I forgot about the Jaguars. Um, the Jaguars, I think 4-12 is pretty much an accurate assessment of the team. They'll win a few games here and there, but the Jaguars, Jaguars. I don't know if anyone noticed this or not, but Mike Mularkey, he looks a lot like Kevin Costner. I don't know, that's probably my observation or anything like that, but anyway, to the NFC West, which is probably the worst division in football. And he has the 49ers at 11-5. He has the Seahawks at 9-7, the Cardinals at 5-11, and the St. Louis Rams at 3-13. Ooh. The 49ers will be pretty good. I think they'll be better than 11-5. The Seahawks will be better. The Cardinals will be pretty much crap. And I think St. Louis will win quite a few more games than 3. I think. But, I don't know. So, anyway, let's get to where he has the playoff predictions. He has Kansas City over Buffalo. And then he has the Broncos over the Ravens, which is pretty much a shock. In the wild card round, the AFC wild card round. And then the divisional playoffs, he has the Patriots over Kansas City, which is pretty good. Pretty good assessment there. Then he has the Broncos over Houston, which is, I don't know about that. And then the AFC Championship game, he has the Broncos over the Patriots. And thus he has the Broncos in the AFC slot for the Super Bowl. And for the NFC playoffs, in the wild card round, he has the Saints over the Falcons, which I don't know about that one. He has Green Bay over the Cowboys, which is pretty good too. And then he has the Saints over the 49ers. And then he has Green Bay over Chicago in the divisional round. And then the NFC Championship game, he has the Packers over the Saints. So it's basically a Packers versus Broncos Super Bowl in New Orleans in February or so of next year. And basically, if I remember right, he has the Packers winning it by 3 by the score of 33-30. And in terms of that prediction, I don't know. I think he's placing a little bit too much faith on the Broncos. I don't know. It's kind of tricky to figure out what the Broncos will do. If Peyton Manning stays healthy throughout the entire season and doesn't have trips to his past injuries of his neck injury, which basically put him out of the season last season. I don't know. I think for the AFC teams to watch out for, definitely the Ravens, Texans, and the Patriots. I think it's going to be... I'm still hoping it's still going to be a Packers versus Patriots Super Bowl in New Orleans. It's pretty much the rematch that I want. It's not this Patriots versus Giants Super Bowl that they were talking about so much hype about. Basically being the rematch of basically one of the biggest upsets in professional sports. And I don't know. I'm still hoping that there will still be a Packers versus Patriots Super Bowl. Because when the Patriots and the Packers met a couple of seasons ago, Aaron Rodgers was out because of a concussion, and NFL rules state that a player cannot play in a game where he was in a concussion situation. So Matt Flynn almost defeated the Patriots by himself, almost. Unfortunately, the Patriots won out in the end, and I'm still hoping that there's gonna be a matchup like that. In terms of offense versus defense situation, I can't imagine a better situation with Tom Brady versus Clay Matthews being on the same field, and then you have Vince Wilfork versus Aaron Rodgers on the same field. So I don't know. It's kind of my take on that. In terms of the Packers' schedule, going into the Packers' little preview of the season, basically we have for week 1 we're basically hosting the 49ers, and I think we can beat the 49ers in our own backyard. I think Chicago will probably give us some troubles. Detroit's back there too. New Orleans is still pretty dangerous with Drew Brees. I don't know. Maybe somehow or another, some of the AFC South teams might surprise us. Maybe Houston. Maybe they might beat us at Reliant Stadium. Maybe Tennessee might beat us or something like that. Who knows? Maybe the Vikings might somehow shock us, which I wouldn't be surprised. But in terms of our offense, basically our offense is still there. I'm still thinking I think our defense will be better than last season. I think maybe our secondary might be trouble. Might be the trouble spot for us, but I think we can still win 11 to 12 games easily, as long as we have Aaron Rodgers at the helm, and with the weapons that Aaron Rodgers has, we'll still be best. We'll still be the best team in football, right next to maybe the Patriots or something like that. But so anyway, let's get to the next topic. I think I'm pretty much done with my NFL preview. So definitely go Pack Go. Yep. So quite a few weeks. Been talking about quite a bit of the Alma Mater tales, and basically this week's Alma Mater tales. Trying to think of some. I guess I could probably talk a little bit more about my time with KMSC Dragon Radio. Basically, my first show with KMSC Dragon Radio, I didn't have the laptop at the time. So what really sucked was that I had to basically use mixtapes or mix CDs of artists that I had at the time, and basically for about a couple hours I just basically played those artists. At first I was pretty nervous at that time, and after about a couple weeks, once I got a laptop and some way to play my music from my laptop, basically it went pretty good after that. So basically the first show is always kind of more of the kind of more of the sucky one, because you're basically in this new situation and you don't know how to deal with it, and I don't know. I thought I did pretty good for my first show, but I wouldn't be surprised uh, if I ever look at that show again and I'm like, oh God, what was I doing? What was I doing in that situation? Why didn't I have a laptop at that time? It's like so odd. It's I guess probably another story I could probably share to you is during my freshman year. I had been doing it for about a good couple months. It was about around close to Christmas time, about a couple weeks before Christmas happened. I was doing a Saturday show, which I usually did during that time, since I thought, oh, Saturday time slots are the best ever, and screw primetime slots. But anyway, I had the Saturday night primetime slot of 7 to 9. I think it might have been 7 to 10, maybe, but anyway, I've been working there for about a couple months, and I still remember it because I was basically doing an 80s music hour, and about around 9:30, around that time, I started to notice that the whole building, which is called the Comstock Memorial Union, in the campus, everything's starting to close down. It certainly became dark in there, and about after 9:30, basically it became pretty much dark and gloomy in there. So there was just, I basically felt that I was basically the only whole one in the building, and I mean, no one told me that there was going to be this closing of the union, and basically it kind of felt a little bit. It felt weird at the time because I was like, did I miss something here, or did I miss some kind of memo or something that I was supposed to get from my email or something? But pretty much after my show, or right after 10, I basically walked out of the union, basically looking at a dimly lit hallway in the union. I don't know. Thinking about it now, I thought it was pretty cool to think that I was the only one in this building that was playing music that you could still hear on a TV channel, which was called the Dragon Channel. They usually show movies. They used to show movies, latest new releases and such. And I lived about the dorm I lived at that time was about 3 floors down to where basically the Dragon Channel was being broadcast at, and it was basically in the basement of Ballard Hall, which was considered at the time, probably is still considered to be haunted. But I could name quite a few more places that are haunted in that place that you could probably consider to be haunted. A lot of people say that Weld Hall is haunted. Then you have the doll basement being haunted, and then you have the Ballard basement being haunted. It's just like just say every damn place is still haunted. I mean, come on. It's anyway. So yeah, I basically had one show where I basically felt I was basically alone, and I thought it was pretty cool to feel at that time. So let's get to the weird news, and then I'm off. And this week's weird news comes from the greenish land of Iceland. Not to be confused with Greenland, which is pretty much covered in ice, and then you have Iceland, which is pretty much mostly green vegetation and such. This episode's weird news is from that country in Iceland called Iceland. And the title is "Missing Tourist in Iceland Joins Search for Herself." And this is by NBC News staff. A missing tour bus passenger in remotely southern Iceland joined up her own search party last weekend without realizing the search terms were in fact looking for her, according to a report. According to the Iceland Review, which cited the website mbl.is, which the site is Icelandic. A bus driver in the volcanic canyon of forgive me if I pronounce this wrong, but the volcanic canyon Elja reported a foreign missing tourist on Saturday after she failed to return to her tour bus. The driver had been waiting an hour before contacting local search and rescue teams for the woman, the review said. But the report said the search was called off early Sunday morning after it was discovered that the woman believed to be missing was on the bus all along and had been participating in the search for herself. Other passengers had not recognized the woman because she had changed her clothes and cleaned up after the stop at Ilja before re-entering the bus, reports say. Around 50 people participated in the search in vehicles and by foot, the review said. The name of the passenger was not immediately available. Ilja is approximately 150 miles east of the capital, Reykjavik. Iceland Review quoted Sven K. Runarsson, the chief police of Hjavosolver. Forgive me if I pronounce that wrong. Sorry, I'm not from Iceland or such. As telling that mbl.is that the woman was not at fault because the bus passengers had simply not been counted correctly. The tourist apparently did not recognize the description of herself during the ill-fated search and had no idea that she was missing. Runar's son was quoted as saying, according to the Reykjavik Grapevine, the woman was described as Asian, about 116 centimeters, or about 5'3", in dark clothing and speaks English well. So, you definitely have that's quite an interesting story for this podcast ending. So, for next episode, I'm probably going to be taping another one on Friday, so definitely check out for that. So keep an eye out for that, as well as keep an eye out for my tweets. I will be live tweeting during the Giants and Cowboys game. If you want to follow me, it's at Darth /Tom, or just look for Darth Tom, and you'll probably find me. Anyway, and the name is called Tom Wegner. So definitely go ahead and follow me, and I will follow you back. I'm definitely part of Team Followback, so it's definitely both wins for both worlds. So hopefully by the time next episode, I will have this cold beaten done and over with. So I will see you all next time. Peace out.